This episode of the Great Lakes Outdoors podcast is brought to you by
Migrate Ammunition, GK Calls, Gibraltar Boatyard, Point Malay Waterfowl Festival, Gibraltar Duck Hunters Association, Turtle Box. We'd like to give a special thanks to Brian Ellithorpe. Give him a follow on all social media.
We appreciate all the support. Now let's get to the show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Great Lakes Outdoors podcast. Trav and I are sitting here, and I apologize that we're a day late. Definitely $1 short, I'll tell you that much. Lot going on this weekend with turkey opener going on, and so I apologize for being a day late. Trav should be the one that's apologizing, actually, because I was ready yesterday. Yeah,
you're a little bit of mix up on our texting back and forth. Usually we just talk over the phone, so we're not used to that texting back and forth thing.
Yeah, that's for them youngins. No, because I when we were texting back and forth, I reread it like when I was texting you or when we were talking on the phone finally. And I was like, okay, I could definitely see where it was getting like mishapped and yeah, it was. It's all right. We're here.
You'll have to wait just one day later to listen to this podcast.
Some people can't, man. Some people can't. You'd be surprised how many people text me. You guys doing a podcast this week, or what's going on? A new podcast dropping? What's happening? You'd be surprised.
See, they don't text me because they don't even know I'm on this podcast. So,
well, most of it's just my family anyway, so it doesn't matter. You haven't been out yet, have you?
No, I have not been out yet. It's very surprising for me. Just been busy with work. We had the last couple games of hockey this weekend, so I took a impromptu trip down to Fort Wayne to watch our season come to an end.
Thanks.
Yeah, and then this morning my alarm did not go off, so I'll be waiting till Friday to hit the woods.
That and then what was it? Saturday you had that meetup.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Saturday I went over to the east side of the state, and I don't know if I think I talked about it before on the podcast, but I am joining a group called Hunt Michigan Collab. So their whole objective is getting new people into the world of hunting and giving them the means to through interactions with farmers. So this group goes out, talks to farmers, gets permission, and then brings in people like myself to lead people that may not have never hunted before, don't have access to hunt property, or don't feel geared enough to go and tackle public land hunting. So that's where we come in, and we kind of are guides per se.
Now, is that just deer only for now, or is it? I mean,
so right now it is deer only, antlerless only. In the meeting, we talked potentially expanding into waterfowl, turkeys, and then squirrels, all that fun stuff. So a lot of it's just dependent on the farmers. I mean, a lot of the farmers, they do hunt, right? They just don't have the time to manage their deer herd properly, right? So that's where we come in for early antlerless, late antlerless, but right now it's kind of all up in the air with all the different rule changes and stuff that might be taking place. So there might not be an early antlerless. There might not be a after January antlerless season. So it's kind of all up in the air right now for what time of year will take place.
Seems like no one really knows what's going on just yet, but I feel like there's some good things going. But that's one of the topics that I wanted to talk about later on. Waterfowl, I feel like would be a tough thing to do just because I feel like a lot of the farmers just kind of would give it out at that point. I mean, there's so many people on the road scouting nowadays. I mean, even the farmers that we have permission on, they just talk about it all the time on how many people knock on their doors and whatever. I just feel like the waterfowl aspect, unless there was like a private lake per se, and they're not doing, I mean, waterfowl is doing somewhat damage, I guess, to crops, but it's not like snow geese down south where they're destroying, a bunch of whatever. Turkeys.
I mean, a lot of these, like the one farmer that we hunted in Kalamazoo that we have locked in for this upcoming year, he's had people on that he's given permission, like say like you, that knocks on the door, hey, I want a deer hunt, I want a goose hunt, and they've had a terrible experience with them. And this has happened multiple times, and where they've lost faith in just the common hunter. So that's where we come in, right? That can give them reassurance through insurances and like all this stuff of being trusted people to come out and hunt. I mean, what I don't think people that have hunters like, say, you, who's a very trusted person and has these properties, like, they're not going to be calling us saying, come out and hunt our properties. You know, it's going to be
Right.
people that
Right.
have had bad experiences where they're driving through
Negative
their fields and doing all
effect
that
on
kind
them.
of stuff. You know, yeah. Yep.
Now, how do people get involved? I mean, how do people even look that up?
So it's called Hunt Michigan Collab. If they want to know more information, they can reach out to me directly, and then I can forward them in the right direction. But I have business cards with QR codes that I can give to them, or if they want to shoot me a DM or shoot the page a DM, and I can get them connected with the guy in charge to get them.
You have business cards with your name on it?
No, I don't have with
Oh.
my name on it. No, but I have the company's.
I was gonna say,
Because now, because I didn't tell you this is some big news, is I am the hunt leader for the Kalamazoo area. I am running the show for Kalamazoo. So,
was there just
somewhat of a
you
big wig.
that were involved with it in KZoo?
What's that?
Was it just you and the whole voting aspect of it all? You took it right off the rip?
No. So there was between 8 of us, and the person that runs the group pretty much said, "Hey, I want either you or Ben. Ben was there as well. I want either you or Ben to do it. Be the person that runs the show." And so me and Ben kind of just looked at each other, and I was just like, "Yeah, I can do it." So I think it'll still be a joint team effort for sure. But I'll be at this point.
As like a lead guy in a county, what does that all involve? Are you getting the properties then at that point, or
No, not per se. They have a guy that strictly that goes out, does like interactions. Like right now, it's strictly people reach out to the group. That's
okay?
strictly how it is. We're not going in door knocking or doing nothing like that. But I would be the lead person for the hunts. So I would lead the meetings, tell people where to go, that type of stuff. Like, so I'll have 7 people underneath of me that I'll be like, okay, I want you checking in firearms. I want you checking vehicles in. I want you doing this, doing that type of thing.
Now, is it? Do you guys do like early doe too? Like I know we just talked about like the rules, regulations, and seasons being possibly changed, but is it only a certain time of year like you guys did last year, or is it kind of whenever you guys can get out there kind of thing?
So they shoot for 4 hunts: early youth hunt, a December hunt, a January hunt. That's what they shoot for. But like I said, with all the with the potential changes, that might fluctuate. I mean, they still are going to try to get 4 hunts because they're paid for hunts, right? So people are going to come in, and as of right now, they're paid for unless you get like a grant or something like that. Like you can apply to get a free hunt per se. But
I got. I mean, we might as well jump into it. I guess is the changes that are possibilities. I guess for the deer season coming up. The $1 rule, the dates being changed, and obviously everybody knows about the baiting aspect of it all. I don't think I'm missing anything out of those.
no, I mean shortened seasons, and then everything that you mentioned as well. Yeah. So I think the one thing that attached to the $1 rule that they're pushing for is an APR as well. So
I heard about that today.
Yeah.
I
So that's what
didn't
they're pushing for it hard right now.
I didn't know that there was the APR and the $1 rule. I thought it was just the $1 rule, which kind of changes things up pretty dramatically, in my opinion. Because me personally, I'm all for the $1 rule, but I don't know if I'm for the APR rule. Because if the one person, in my opinion, wants to shoot a buck, they shouldn't be told what to shoot. But I understand that, and this is the way I look at it, the state itself wants more out of state hunters. They want more, solid deer around the state for, future, more of a, I don't know, better opportunity for the hunter to be out there. But for the first couple of years, especially if you have APR, I mean, it's going to be, I feel like it's going to go downhill pretty quick. I mean, basically right now, it sounds like the whole state's just, going just for the trophy hunting at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, what is the reason why to do this? It's for the trophy hunters, right? And getting out of state hunters in. I mean, that's the 2 big reasons, and that all boils down to, on the one side, the money aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
In the grand scheme of things, you would think it's leaning more towards hopefully the evening out the deer population, but like if you go on all the Facebook groups and the forums and stuff like that, it's like you're a Democrat or Republican out there. It's crazy.
For sure.
It's
For sure.
it's crazy out there right now. It sucks because I think the way to solve it hopefully would be just to keep it $1 rule, but then you're not fixing the issue by just the $1 rule, because people are still going to go out there and shoot that year-old 6-point or that 2-year-old 8-point.
I guess the way I look at it is, and I just looked this up the other day, and I didn't know this actually. Michigan is number 1 of the lower 48 with the most state land, not federal, but state land. And it's funny, like Ohio's only got like, don't mark me on this, but like 250,000, I think, like acres in state land, and we have like 4.5 million acres in state land. So if you look at it that way, you're dealing with a lot more state hunters or state guys that hunt state land, I guess. So you're dealing with the guys that are only seeing those smaller bucks most of the time. I mean, opening day you might get lucky or whatever, deer getting pushed around, but you know, those are the guys that you're going up against with having that much state ground. I feel like those are the ones that are making more of the noise, which is nothing wrong with it, obviously. But to a point, I don't blame them for wanting that, to see better quality deer out in the field and not just seeing the same small deer every year. Because down the road, I feel like it would be a positive thing where you would see a lot more better deer, but the ugly stages of it might be too ugly.
Yeah, I mean, definitely jumping into a $1 with APR, it's gonna be a rough first couple years, I think, especially maybe not for some hunters like that have private property that have been managing their deer herd the last couple years, but those that are shooting their 2 deer every year or hunting state land, that aren't like the grinders out there. Because I know a lot of state land hunters that put in the work. They scout, they put miles on their feet, you know, and they look for those deer and actually like hunt. Like the people that are going to go in on November 15th or 14th potentially with the date change.
Right. That's not even the 14th. I thought, right? That's the first Saturday before Thanksgiving, or is that the 14th?
Yeah, I think that's the 14th.
Well, I guess it would change every year, right? Or no?
Yeah, I think it would change every year, but it's like a week-long hunt. It's a week-long gun season.
So I guess that alone in itself would be just weird to me, because I mean, November 15th is Michigan's opening day. Like there's schools that take that day off. It's a holiday for a lot of people. So granted, I think pushing it back would be not a terrible thing, because I feel like a lot of mature deer would survive, because, you know, the ruts, I'd say, I don't know, I'm not a deer expert, but like early November, it seems like the most activity is going on. And obviously there's activity that goes on consistently through even December sometimes in some areas. But those mature bucks will be able to survive a little bit longer, maybe breed a couple more does, whatever it may be. But I don't know. I just feel like it's November 15th. It's kind of hard to get away from that date.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I was talking with some guys about was them wanting to shortening up gun season. I was thinking to myself, like, this, like, holiday for a lot of people, like for myself included, like November 15th through the 30th, like that's one of my favorite times of year to be able to get in a deer blind with a gun, even though I much prefer hunting with a bow and shooting a deer with a bow, but like using a gun, going in your shanty with my grandpa back in the day, that's some of the highlights of my hunting career right there.
Well, and I think a lot of it though too is a lot of people from the social media aspect, they're seeing more state land hunting on social media. They're seeing a lot more, like, it almost, in my opinion, maybe I'm just getting more into it now, a lot more bow hunters out there now. Like bow hunting is getting big again, like it used to be back in the day. I feel like there's a wide range of people that want to see it, like old school kind of, if that makes sense. And dates wise, I mean, you're almost shooting deer 9 months out of the year, or 6 months out of the year. I mean, it's pretty crazy, right?
With the current dates, you are right. You can shoot a deer in September,
right?
You can shoot deer in January,
February, right? Or no? I think February. There's some counties, isn't there?
I think over by you, I think there was some counties with some like late
That's
Anyways.
what. So I mean, it's just pretty crazy. I mean, the amount of time, and then especially without like even a muzzleloader season, you could use whatever. I don't know. There's definitely some things I feel like that they could switch up for the better, but I just hope they don't overdo it. I think there are some steps that are necessary to help the state and the deer hunters. But like I said, I just hope they don't like overkill it, I guess. And go ahead.
No, I was gonna say one thing we forgot to mention too is them taking away the rifle line.
I didn't even really hear about that either.
Yeah, they would make like you could use a 270 in your area.
I don't even know if I would, to be honest with you. I know probably a lot of people would, but I don't know if I would. That's just me personally. Nothing, I guess, against it or not pro or con. I guess it's just me personally. I don't think I would.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, like shortening up the season, I think is a must, right? I think having pressure in the woods hunting wise from September to January is terrible for a deer, especially going into the winter months and then them having to fend off coyotes, wolves, whatever, in the wintertime, having harsh winter with food, and they've been pressured the entire year by hunters. I think is terrible. I think shortening up that, bringing back a muzzleloader only season, I think should be something that happens as well.
Well,
I mean, I know a lot of people, and not mentioning any names, that during muzzleloader season back in the day would still use a rifle because there really isn't no way to
right, to know.
You can't enforce that unless someone hears a shot and the deer officer is right there, right? But
right,
there's no way to enforce it but to having those guidelines in place to then stop, say, someone like myself who follows the rules. Like then I would go back to using a muzzleloader because now muzzleloader season, why would I use a muzzleloader when I can use a rifle? That's how some people feel about during archery season, right? Why would I use a compound bow when I can use a crossbow and shoot twice as far potentially?
Well, that's I was talking to a guy at work about it, and he's for like he's kind of in between, I guess, on the $2 and the $1, and I get it. And I was explaining to him about them trying to get more out of state hunters because that's kind of where the money is. I mean, it's all revolving around money at the end of the day. But he made like a very valid point, and it was a very short-lived thing where if you want more mature deer, why don't we make the youth season doe only like it was for like the 2 or 3 months, whatever it was, until it got reversed. I think it was last year. Which I would honestly be for, like be all for it, because it kind of teaches the youth it's more than just like the bigger deer and you're going out there for the meat and not just the big bucks, because I guess it gives them a different perspective per se, in my opinion. And a lot of those deer, like the big deer, they're on their summer patterns, and I get it, it's like for the kids and everything, but he did make a good point about all of the bucks being shot in the youth season. And I know people are going to say, the dad shooting the deer. I would be shocked if probably like, I think it's more of an excuse being thrown out there that the dads are shooting. Does it happen? I'm sure it does, but I don't think it's being done as much as people say it's being done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with keeping bucks in the youth season, but when kids are going out there at 5 years old and shooting a 160, it's like,
right,
does that kid really understand the deer he just shot? Like I think that's got to be changed, right? Like when I was growing up and when you were growing up, you didn't deer hunt as much, but like you couldn't get a mentor. I don't think you could get a mentor tag. And when I started, you had to use a bow first. It was 10 years old, bow only, and then at 12 years old you could use a gun. I think looking at something like that, I think it would definitely help.
Well, now the next question would be a compound or a crossbow. Now, I mean, that's just going to be the next question that you'd be asked at that. But I just think that like with people or the state wanting to get rid of like the does as it is, I mean, early doe, late antlerless, whatever it may be, why not have the youth go for does? Why not teach them about more of the meat side of things than the trophy side of things? Get them introduced that way instead of just the trophy aspect. Like kind of, like if you, like you said, if you shoot a 160 your first deer, are you really going to top that? I mean, you can, but it's probably unlikely. You know what I mean? Some properties, yeah, but it's just, I don't know, one of those things where I feel like if it was doe only you would get more kids in it for the right reason and they would understand it maybe more. And obviously every kid is going to be, depends on how much they actually take in or actually even care or getting drug out there by their, parents or whoever's taking them out there. I just think it might be a good thing, but again, my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, for me, like, I'm all about getting the kids into it. So if them shooting a buck is a way for them to get into it, I would lean more towards keeping the bucks in for youth season. I mean, just the memories that I have, I think it might not be different at all if it was a doe, but I just remember that buck coming in and me shooting it like my first buck ever at 10 years old. Like, that's I can tell you that entire story from start to finish. At what is it, almost 20 years later, I could tell you word for word what happened that day. Like,
Well, and
maybe
there's
that'd be
part of
different
it.
with the doe. I don't know.
There's a part of it though too, where it's like you're either going to hunt or you're not, depending on your family. I feel like, I mean, no matter if you shoot a doe or a buck, like you're going to be involved with like the hunting world, I guess. You're going to go up north, you're going to go out hunting behind the house, whatever. If you're in it, you're in it, no matter what your first deer is going to be. Like, it's not going to really maybe determine that many kids or deter that many kids away from hunting too. So I mean, the moral of the story is you're never going to make everybody happy with changing these rules. I mean, there's always going to be people that are against it and for it and want to change other things too. And it's just, I think just the state alone needs to change something just because of the numbers that are going like decreasing every year. Got to be some change, and that's just the moral of the story, I feel like.
Yeah, and like that's the tough thing, right? Is like numbers are numbers are going down right now. So something is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and by changing the rules that may affect some people, hopefully that will potentially bring a more people into it, right? And something I just thought about too, like when you think about the one buck rule, is do you think there's an influence from social media, like on the
100%.
like the deer size, right? Like, cause you think about, you see pictures in the old days, like deer camp, November 15th, you go up there and you're whacking and stacking your
Mm-hmm.
year-old 4 points, your spike horns, and like you were excited about it, right? And now you shoot a spike horn, and like I might be excited about a spike horn, but say you see it on social media and you go, why the hell you shoot a spike horn? Like that could have been an awesome buck in a couple years, So like we're changing from the reasons why we are hunting for food, for the deer itself, to now everyone needs to shoot 120 better.
Right, like the trophy aspect. Well, and
Yeah.
I'll backtrack it a little bit for you though too. Michigan used to be a one buck state years ago.
Like when?
I couldn't tell you the dates, but I don't know if you could look it up or whatever. But
Yeah, let me look it up, because that would have been a long.
and it might have been, I don't know, but I know, I don't know for sure, but I'm like 98% positive Michigan used to be a one buck, but I don't think it had an APR on it though either.
So it was Michigan implemented a one buck rule starting in 1921.
When did it end though?
Ended 1956.
Okay, so a little bit longer than I thought then, or a little bit shorter than I thought. But it used to be one buck regardless. And I'm all for, I guess, whatever they choose, because at the end of the day, it's not going to matter what I think. They're going to do what they're going to do. I just, I don't, I don't know. As long as somebody like the APR, especially, I would disagree 100% with. Like, I don't care what anybody shoots, even with turkeys or whatever it may be. If it's gets you excited enough to pull the trigger, then good for you. I don't care if it's a spike or a 4-point, whatever it is. If you get worked up about it, I'm cool with it. If it's legal, I'm cool with it. I don't think that anybody should be able to tell you what you should or shouldn't shoot. But does social media play a role in it? I think absolutely. It's a size and number game, and unfortunately, that's just the world that we live in nowadays. It stinks, but that's just how it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same. Like, for me, is it gonna change the way I hunt? Potentially, yeah. But is it going to affect me in the long run? No, because I mean, if as long as I can still be able to go out and shoot my one buck a year that I shoot,
Right.
I'll be happy with that.
Right. And if I need more meat, I'll shoot a doe. I mean,
Yep.
I see a lot of people that are complaining about the $2. It's like, well, what if you're going just for the meat? Then why not just a doe? Well, everybody always says you can't eat the antlers, so why don't you shoot a doe? People are so contradicting themselves, and they don't even realize it. I feel like sometimes, like especially on Facebook and social media right now, it's like, do you guys even just kind of sit back and listen to your guys, like yourself, like speak? Because it just doesn't make, like, you guys don't make any sense. You were probably complaining on November 13th of last year, not seeing big deer and the neighbors shooting everything, but you're also doing the same thing. You know, I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah. Social media is hilarious to go in and when you got 2 days to go and scroll through everything that's out there right now. It's just it's hilarious that you see someone post something somewhere and then there's like a 30 comments below it of people just bashing that person. Then the next post is the same exact thing.
You could literally put, what is it, OBR right now on Facebook, and you would be getting 100 comments on it. It's like instantly.
Yep. With that logo, and then someone goes underneath it with like a $2 buck on it, and then someone does 1.5 and half and $0, and it's crazy.
It's nuts. But enough about the fall and the deer hunting aspect. It's springtime, the walleye are biting, people are hammering them on the river. People are handlining, jigging, trolling, whatever you want to do out there. The fish are in. Turkeys are gobbling. It's springtime. We're getting somewhat warmer weather. This morning was freezing outside. You wouldn't have known because you were bundled up in your bed. But it's a good time of year right now.
And you have a story you're supposed to be telling me, and you're waiting for this podcast to tell me. And so this is the backstory here. So supposed to do the podcast earlier, didn't happen. Kyle was like saying something about how what did I text him? No, I'm gonna go to my text messages right now, and I'm gonna read what he said.
All right.
Read what he said.
Just don't read the part where I got upset with you.
So you said I got some stories. And I said okay, cool. You're out hunting currently at this time period, and I said okay, you're good to keep hunting. Like we can do the podcast later. And then you said, well, I did shoot something today. And I said, you did. And you said, I did. I'm going to check 2 more spots, and then I'll head to the room.
Which I only checked the 1 spot, so you were lucky.
So in my head, and this is what I sent back to you, I said, WTF, what the fuck? No text, no pic, no nothing. Like, as someone who is supposed to be one of your best friends, a good hunting buddy, I text that person if I shoot something. In my head, then after I was like, huh, he probably fucking missed.
Oh,
and
I have
sent that. And I sent that, and I said I was pissed at this point. He said, I want to save it for the podcast. I said, whatever, man. He sent me a video, and he said this is a teaser. I said, you know what? I don't even want to watch it because it's crazy not a fuck you text or nothing. And then he said, you'll understand when I tell you. And then I texted after that, and I said, I hope you missed. And I truly, in my soul, hope that's what happened. And so now I'll let you tell me your story.
Well, this is all accurate, I will say. I don't believe you lied once about the story you just told. But so I'll break it down. So opening day, we had 6 of us go out, different properties, obviously. We had 2 toms in front of us opening day with, I don't know, half dozen hens in front, and they just followed the hens around, never gobbled. We didn't even hear a gobble. It was pouring rain. Just seen those 2, and Brandon and Kenny heard 1 gobble walking in, and that was it. And then my dad and Jimmy's gun clicked on one because the receiver wasn't all the way pushed in, or something happened. And then they ended up calling that bird back, and then Jimmy ended up shooting that one opening day. And then we went back to one of the properties, and Sid wanted to sleep in the truck. Well, I said, well, don't cry when I come back walking back with a bird. So I get out there and got one fired up. He come in. I try to let him slide off, and Sid couldn't get it out there in time. And the bird just kind of shut up at that point. So me and my dad, and there was a couple other guys, a couple other friends that shot some birds yesterday. But me and my dad went out yesterday, Sunday. We had 4 jakes come out and a tom. And as soon as that tom popped out, I knew what would happen, because I forgot to mention, when me and Sid got up after the morning hunt on Saturday, we went over to the property, and there was a lone tom, and we were trying to save this property, but the lone tom was out there. So ran out there, tried to call him in. He was hammering, coming in, and the next thing you know, Sid goes, "Well, did you hear that other gobble out there?" I was like, "Yeah, it had to have been him." Well, no, the 4 jakes came out and pushed that tom right out of there. So I knew when me and my dad seen that tom out there in those 4 jakes, that it'd probably be the same scenario. Long story short, those jakes pushed that tom off. We ended up leaving after the jakes left. Literally probably 5 minutes after we left, 2 toms and a couple hens popped out in that field Sunday night. And I woke up late this morning, went out there, probably right about when the birds hit the ground, and they were gobbling, had some birds answering back, but I there was some hens in between us. I could hear them. Had a hen pop up next to me, and that was about it. And so I go to the property where me and my dad sat at, and I walk back to the back field, and there's a ditch line that cuts the 2 fields, it separates the 2 fields. And I creep over the ditch, and I look to my left, and there's 4 jakes sitting there, the same 4 jakes. So I hop in the ditch and start calling, just to kind of get them around, maybe get some video or whatever, since apparently I'm the only one that gets content during turkey season. They come by, and well, they were in the back for the longest time. I was crow calling, and they were answering, and next thing you know, I crow call again, and they're like right on top of me. I mean, it scared the crap out of me, honestly. Between them and the squirrel that looked like it was about to attack me, it was kind of a what to do kind of moment. Like, do I, run or do I fight kind of thing? But those 4 jakes probably walked within 5 feet of me, just walked right by, and I heard a shot gobble in the woods. And I don't know if you remember the property. Well, I know you remember the property where we sat on the tree point and that hen came in to us. So I was on that back field, and there's a little part of the woods that kind of jogs out a little bit. If I showed you, you would remember. That turkey was in there, and it's all overgrown this year. So I figured, well, if I sat on that tree line right next to him, I could probably call him in if he's gobbling. And I'm trying to shoot one without a decoy, I guess. I'm trying to shoot one and just trying a different way, I guess. So I get to the tree line, get all set up, get my camera set up, get everything situated. And I'm so focused on the one spot that when the other one gobbled, I didn't know where he was. Well, he gobbled again, and I look up, and he's like walking, 50 yards in the tall brush coming right at me. So I'm trying to get the camera ready. I got the 410 ready, getting it all situated. And he cuts out in front of me. Excuse me. Cuts out in front of me, and I get the camera like kind of where I figured he was going to be walking. And I can't believe I'm telling you this, but he gets out in front of me, and I call to him to kind of get him to get his head to stand up, to telescope, start looking. I go to shoot, and I forgot that there was a second safety on the 410. And since it's a kid's gun, so there's 2 safeties on it. So it clicks, and you could hear it in one of the videos I took. And the bird ends up walking in like past me, and then goes into the woods, because obviously thinks that the bird's in the woods. Well, where I set up at was a good spot, because the birds weren't coming from behind me. There was water in the woods, and it was real thick. So he was back there, it seemed like, for 10 minutes, just hammering, trying to figure out a way to get through there. And I got a vine. I got my gun rested up against a tree, and I got a vine where I got my pinky holding the vine back so I can kind of get down on the gun to be able to see through all this thick stuff. And I see his head, just bobbing through just some brush. Well, he finally gets to a spot. I get down on the gun, and I shoot, and I look up, and his head doesn't move. And I'm like, that ain't good. It's a single shot 410. I was like, that ain't good. So he slowly just kind of turns around and just starts walking. I'm like, what the heck just happened? He's gobbling still. And there's a hole in the tree about this big that I never seen. I was like, I can't believe I just pulled a Ben. I just can't believe I just pulled a Ben. And I tried to squeeze one in there, and it was kind of a far shot, but literally I'll send you the picture after this, but it was about an inch off. And if that tree wasn't there, it would have been a dead bird just because of the pattern wise.
Yeah, I'm sure it would.
That tree was so close that it ate every single one of those pellets from that Migra 410 shell. Unfortunately, I don't know if that tree is going to make it too much longer because it's got about 500 BBs of tungsten sitting in it right now. And, so I ended up leaving, and yeah, that's why you never got a picture of anything.
Hey,
so
you just made my night. You made my night.
So yeah,
I think
story,
when I tell Ben that, I think it's gonna make his year.
I hope it does. I hope it does. But it was just one of those things where it's like, did that really just like that bird's got 9 lives right now? I didn't put the safety off, and I'm gonna blame it on you because I figured if I don't get a video of this, even though I'm by myself, Trav's gonna hate me. So I got to focus 100%. On the camera. I got to focus on the camera. I got to focus on the bird. I got to focus on the red dot. I got to focus on the 2 safeties. Well, I can't chew gum and walk at the same time half the times. It was a little tough, man. But yeah,
more
of the story
of being an influencer, Kyle, is you have to get all the stuff.
I
missed.
All
the action shots.
The 410 was barking. It was just shooting the bark off of the tree is what it was barking at. That was I don't know. I thought, and I drove around afterwards too, and I seen some more birds out in the field strutting and stuff, but they didn't want nothing to do with me. So
watch your trees. Watch your trees now.
I stood up after and looked at it, and it was probably 30 yards or so. But now, like, my question is I don't know. I know the bird didn't like putt or run off or anything. I mean, granted, the 410 ain't making much noise, and the birds don't know what the shotgun is. How spooked that bird is, I guess, now in reality. I mean, to a point, he's educated, right? But to what point, I guess, is he educated? Because if there was no decoys out there and he just kind of turned around and walked off, what did he really learn off of that?
I mean, since you hammered that tree in front of you, no BBs probably wouldn't even made it close to him. I mean, and he didn't putt or do nothing walking down. I mean, I'm sure he's probably like, what the heck just happened? But
I mean, there's no probably. There's every BB in that tree. There's no probably. There's every BB in that tree.
You get a picture with it afterwards with your 410 shell?
No, I should have went up and took like a selfie with it. But I mean, I have a picture of like the shot itself, like my angle, and then where the bird was at, and you could see the hole in the tree.
Like the BBs hitting the tree in the video?
No, because like at that point, I didn't know. If you see the video, it's thick back there. And I didn't know where he was going to pop out at. I didn't know if he was going to pop out like directly in front of me. Well, he came like directly almost to my left. So I don't even think I had the camera facing that way. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I had the camera going at that point, just because it happened so quick. I just seen his head bopping through there, and I knew it was going to be a small window for a chance to shoot him if I was going to. I didn't even see his beard. I just know he wasn't a Jake. I seen that it was long enough to be longer than a Jake's beard. And that's all I seen on him. I didn't see the full beard. I didn't see really nothing on him. I was going for it.
You didn't see that tree.
I did not see that tree. That grew up out of nowhere. That had some fast growing stuff on it. I'll tell you that, because it popped up quick.
Oh shit! That. Thanks for making my night, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. But there was the other property though too. The last property I went to, I changed locations of the camera, and I had a couple. Like I said, I had a couple times over there. So I might head over there in the morning. I don't know. We'll see where I go in the morning. I almost want to go back to that same spot just to, I guess, get an idea of how spooked those birds really are, and not go after more birds. But I really just don't think I spooked them that bad. I know they shot gobble and stuff, but for him to gobble 2 or 3 more times afterwards, but just kind of turn around nonchalant and just walk off like nothing really happened. And again, like I said, no decoys, no nothing. Like it wasn't really, I don't know. I just feel like I didn't really shock him that bad to where he ran off. He's going to be in the next town.
What were you using, the diaphragm?
Yeah. Yep. So
And maybe trying a different one of the diaphragm calls and trying a different angle on them might help,
I
because he might be weary to coming in back in that same area because of that.
but the good thing is though, where I was sitting, it was at the very front, like it was right on the other side of the ditch, is basically where I sat at. And it's not where we normally would sit at that property, because since it's all overgrown right now, luckily the guys that deer hunt it, they clear cut like all the brush on the backside. So that's where we would normally set up at if we were to hunt there. I just sat there just because that other bird shot gobbled, next to me, which I did get hit. The other bird had gobbled a couple more times afterwards too. But it's just one of those things where I was just kind of done with it. That's the what for? It's not like a square mile, but like that stretch of property right there is where I've missed every single one of my turkeys at. I missed 2 there, and then I missed one further down the road, but on the same block of property, not on like the same property owner, but like a different property owner on that same kind of section of woods over there.
Have you killed a bird there?
Yeah. I've killed 2. Me and my dad doubled up, and then I shot one. My first bird that I shot by myself was at that property, and then that's where we went opening morning last year, where Brian shot his first bird was at that property too. But that's I guess that's a question for you. In your opinion, which it doesn't got to be right or wrong, how do you usually hunt around bird? Like some of these properties that I have, it seems like there's a group of jakes that are always out there that push the toms around. So you don't want to, like, in my opinion, you don't really want to throw a jake decoy out there, because as soon as that tom sees a jake decoy, you run the possibility of him thinking automatically that there's going to be more behind him. So you don't want to run the jake, but I feel like a hen, like we ran 2 hens out Sunday night and they could care less about it. Like the jakes maybe even gobbled twice Sunday night. And the tom never gobbled once or never fanned out or anything. I don't know if a strutter would be the way to go at that point or what, but at the same time, the weather that we had rolling in Sunday night could have been a big factor as well.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough, because I mean I definitely would not run any jake decoys for sure if that bird is getting scared by those jakes. I think your best bet, like you did today, would be run no decoys
That's what I feel like too.
and make that bird search for it like he was, like, because that's what I feel like with a lot of turkeys is once they, like, a tom sees that hen decoy, they're like, okay, now come to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
kind
you
of
kinda-
what it is. That's kind of how it is, right? Like hens go to the toms.
Well, and that's the hardest part too with doing the whole no decoy scenario, which I guess it's more of I've done it before, I've killed them before that way, but just learning more about it, like the when to call, when not to call, when the best scenario with a decoy or without a decoy, like still just trying to figure out how to strike that bird's interest more than anything, I guess, is what I'm trying to get more accustomed to, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, definitely with no decoys, it's definitely you're not calling much once that bird gets into sight line of you. Like, where it, like if you have a tom coming across the field at you and you have decoys out there, you can call at it, right? But like when you have no decoys and you're sitting in an area and that tom can, because turkeys have very good eyesight, and they can look and be like, okay, there's sound coming, but there's no birds there.
Right.
And that's where the birds go, okay, something's not right here. Let's get out of here.
Well, and I think that's
I've had the best luck with that, where you have someone set up and then you have the caller be 15, 20 yards behind you.
right.
And doing it that way.
Well, I think that's where the positioning of the hunt or where you're set up at matters a lot too, because like with that overgrown stuff around me, he did have to look whether I had a decoy out there or not. He definitely would have had a look no matter what. But the positioning, like setting up on corners and trying to make that call sound like it's coming from around the corner where he's got to go past you, or it's definitely difficult by yourself. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, you can't just be calling straight on. You got to be actually like looking this way, and then you'd be like, okay, like calling back, so it sounds like it's coming back from that direction,
right.
doing it that direction,
Right. So I mean, it's definitely difficult. I don't know. It's just I want to learn more about everything, I guess, trying to get more info about everything, try to be more of a well-rounded. I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good knowledge in some instances of hunting turkeys, but not obviously everything. Like I could honestly say, like I probably couldn't go to state land with just me and be. I mean, I'd probably kill possibly a couple, but I wouldn't be nearly as well-rounded as I'd like to be, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but you're also missing, like, with state land, you're still scouting. You're still doing all the things you're doing right now on private land. It's just on state land.
For sure. And I know a lot of people a lot of people will even determine what the birds do, like other hunters out there and stuff, obviously. But there's certain, I guess, techniques or tips that are small but can make that much of a difference during a turkey hunt, that I would like to be more familiar with, I guess. I don't know. And this year, I mean, it's been, granted today's the third day of the season, but with the amount of water that we've got this spring, and just the weather alone, it's been tricky, even in the scouting aspect of it all. It's been different just because every field is flooded. So I feel like those birds have like their own little islands inside the woodlot or in certain spots where you can't hunt people's backyards, whatever. And they're not moving because they can't. And then, this morning, I think it was 27 degrees outside. Granted, they were gobbling, but it's cold. But then you look at the trees right now. I mean, a lot of the trees are a lot greener, I feel like this time of year than they have been in the past. I feel like the warm weather that we've had, the last 2 weeks that were in the 70s and 80s, and now 20s again.
Match with all the rain. It's
right.
It's definitely so much greener than it was last year, for sure.
So it makes it tough. And I'm sure it's tough on the birds as well.
Yeah, like, I mean, for the birds I'm hunting behind my house here, the last couple years, the birds would come through my property to get out to the field. Now, with all the rain, my back half of my property is flooded completely. So now those birds they're taking a different route and going all the way around and not even coming onto my property now.
Right.
So it's definitely changed their whole travel patterns with this weather.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just I don't know, especially with opening day with all the rain that we've got. I mean, the whole state was rain. It seemed like, obviously people shot birds on opening day, but it's tough hunting conditions right now, and it makes me wonder for the state alone, which some listeners will be, traveling all over the country for different states or chasing, 49, whatever it may be. I wonder for the state of Michigan what it will do for like the breeding scenario of it all. I know, I want to say like the peak of the breeding for turkeys, like even before opening day hits most of the time. But with it being this green and like we had all that warm weather early, does it change, things around for later in the year? Are the hens all bred earlier this year, or what's the future looking like for hunting wise, I guess? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the big thing to think about too is with the zone changes and seasons being simplified.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad has never hunted this early before because of how their area was, where it was 1 week, and then another week, the month, right? So now in his area, now it's from April 18th till May, was it 31st, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is now. So now more people are getting hunting earlier, which could have a pretty good play in it as well. So that's something we'll have to look at for sure as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of scenarios. I mean, same thing with we were just talking about the deer a little bit earlier. The turkey stuff that they've changed up. I like the stuff that they've changed to try to help it. To the data aspect of it all, being able to register your birds and stuff, and I think it's all good as long as everybody's in on it. Especially for the guys that want a two bird state, which I disagree with, because I feel like, it's almost like a greed thing. If you want two birds, like you got to realize, like there's a lot of properties for us where we shoot as like a certain amount of birds on that property. Well, we won't touch that property again for the rest of the year, even if there's birds on it pretty consistently that we know what we're going to be able to kill, just because we want birds for the future. But with the registering your birds, I feel like it will help out with some counties being able to do that in the future, I guess. I don't know. It's just it's been a rough start to this turkey season so far. Not like last year. I mean, last year the season started off awesome. I mean, I think we already had like 7-8 birds down by now. Yeah, this year we got one and a tree.
The nice thing is it's only April 20th. You got a lot of time to go.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, part of me wants to wait till later in the year because I was telling my dad the other day that you know, I'd love to shoot just a big old spurred turkey. You know, it seems like every year it's almost like the same thing, which not taking away any of it, but like a 10-inch beard with, you know, 3/4 to an inch hooks, which is an amazing bird. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes I get a little jealous of those guys that are shooting those later in the season birds that are just studs. You know what I mean? Just absolute monster of a bird.
With the massive curl on it.
Yeah, man. It's like, man, why couldn't I have shot that stupid thing? You know, so I mean, part of me does want to wait. And the hardest part for me right now, honestly, is trying to not pressure or educate birds, but also try to get on birds. Like if I'm hunting by myself, you know, tomorrow morning and today, you know, the ideal situation would be just one tom rolling in, right? But you know, the odds of that are, you know, slim to none sometimes. Where if 2 or 3 roll in, I wish there was another person with me at least to try to get the second one and not ruin that other bird for somebody else. So it gets kind of tricky in that aspect right now to not hunt spots, but at the same time, like you still want to just get out there and get one under your belt. You know what I mean? So it's tough.
Yeah. You mentioned the spurs and stuff. Are you like I think it'd be crazy. Like for me, like a tom comes in, I'm shooting it, no matter if it's got a 6-inch. If it's a tom, I'm shooting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
In any scenario, are you messing up that tom if it comes in?
Yeah, like
this is a solo tom.
Yeah. There's some scenarios like Sunday's bird I probably wouldn't have shot, to be honest with you, just because I mean, this is just me personally. Like that bird came into the field, and like I said, never gobbled, never strutted, never nothing. Like I felt like I didn't fool that bird to come in. Like it was just a part of his plan just to come into that field. So I feel like as a turkey hunt goes on, I want to hear the gobbling. I want to be able to trick that bird completely. I don't want to just kind of set up in the right spot and he ends up walking by that way. Like I want to be able to see a show, I guess. You know what I mean? I want to.
Sometimes that's part of the hunt, though, right? Is you set up in the perfect spot and you don't have to call.
No, I mean it is for sure. I mean, I just feel like for what I'm at right now, I want that. I want that gratifying feeling, like I to trick that bird that much. I guess I want him to be fired up. I don't want to just shoot him when he's all like tucked in his shoulders and no color to him or nothing. I want to show, I guess, and maybe that's
so. If that tom comes in with 10 beards on it and 2-inch spurs, you're like, I didn't trick him. He's passing.
I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it's tough. It's just
So you're telling me you're thinking if the tom that big comes in and you didn't trick him, you're not shooting him.
I mean, if it was like a crazy bird, yeah, I would probably shoot him. But I want more of the show, I guess. That's turkey hunting, in my opinion, is like the show of it.
Yeah.
It's basically like say you go out and obviously we don't do it. Like you shoot a turkey over bait. You know the bird's going to that spot. You know he's going there every single day. You got him on camera every single day, and you shoot him that way. And he just kind of just moseying around and just doing his thing. Like it's not like a fun experience at that point, in my opinion. You know, but if he's gobbling and coming in and he's got hens or whatever it may be, and he's looking and he's going to beat up the decoy or searching for the hen, whatever, it's just more of that excitement, I guess. You know,
I get that.
That full turkey hunt.
I get that.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that way, but that's just.
I don't think you are. I just think I think if you're put in that scenario, I think you would think differently.
Well, if a bird like that, yeah, I mean, I think anybody would, no matter what. I don't know. Could you say it's a respect thing? I guess too, though, like for not doing that. I guess in a sense. I don't know. Turkey hunting alone it just seems like it's a lot more like of a I don't know, like a I don't want to say a spiritual thing or anything, but like a I don't know. It's just something different though. You know what I'm saying? Or no? It's not like turkey hunting. I feel like is like not like a deer hunt where you're just sitting there and like it's just the one deer. Like I just feel like it's a lot of a difference, a big difference between the two. I guess if that makes sense. It's more of a connection.
Yeah, I think so, but I also think a lot of people they do hunt the way of they pattern those birds, and they're gonna get in that turkey's patterning, and they're gonna sit in that path, and they know those birds are gonna come by right there. They're not gonna
Well,
call. Maybe they don't know how to call.
yeah, and that's
And
fine.
that's the
Like
way they hunt.
yeah, that's fine. Like I'm not knocking anybody. Like same thing with like what we talked about with the deer and stuff. I'm not knocking anybody for doing anything to make themselves successful. Like I said, if it's legal and you're happy with that, go for it by all means. Like I'm happy for you. You know what I mean? But just me personally, um, with the opportunities that I've been thankful to have, in the stage of hunting, I guess that I'm in, I want that show. I don't mean to like. I don't know if that sounds like cocky or just stupid or whatever. I don't know. I just want that.
No, I don't think. I think that's just your expectation, and that's totally fine.
It
I
is
mean,
what
I
it,
do because I'm like, if I have a tom in front of me, I'm shooting that sucker because I know how difficult turkey hunting can be, and that could be potentially be your only chance to kill a bird that year. But that's you putting past the I gotta kill a turkey, right? I have to kill something. For you, it's you want a certain thing. And if it doesn't happen, then you're okay with that.
I guess that's the point of it too, though. I mean, that's a good point. Like, do I need to kill one? I'd like to kill one, but do I need to? Not necessarily. Um, is it meaningful to me? Like, yeah, absolutely. Like, it's one of my favorite things to do. Um, and I guess too. I don't want like with me going out as much as I do. I don't want to say like waste because you're not wasting, but like waste that like that one bird that you're going after on a bird that's just walking through. I guess. Does that sound bad? It might sound bad, but
And I want to bring it full circle. Is like this is back to that one buck rule. Like right now we have a one turkey rule.
mm-hmm.
So having that one buck rule will make people think the same thing how you're thinking about turkey hunting right now to the way they think about deer hunting. Like,
To an extent.
is this buck meaningful enough to me to be able to harvest?
I mean, to an extent, because I mean, like you're not going to have that one-on-one connection with the deer compared to turkeys wise. And one-on-one, I'm saying as in calling aspect, like you and that bird are talking back and forth, like you're yelping at it and he's gobbling at you, and you're calling. You know what I mean? Like I guess
But,
you can
but
run
what
at
I
a
mean,
buck.
what I'm meaning by that is like you say that Tom comes in, doesn't gobble at all, but he comes in, you're like, oh, I have another turkey tag.
Are you
So
burning your tag for that? Yeah.
I can shoot this one, and now I'm like, now I can have that meaningful connection. That's like someone going out and shooting a 4 point and be like, okay, now I have my second buck tag to then
Yeah,
shoot.
I see that. I see that. I understand that point. Yeah, no, I mean that's true. That is true. I don't know, but I don't know when are you getting out for the first time?
I will be getting out hopefully Friday morning. That will be my first hunt. Probably gonna tag out first thing right at first light. Probably will be my thing because I'm just such a badass turkey hunter. And then I'll wake up from my dream, and then I will be hunting until May 31st and probably not shoot a single thing. That's probably how my turkey season's gonna go.
Well, the good thing about what you just said, at least you didn't shoot a tree. I can't wait to show you the picture now. I played it off pretty good though.
No, because I thought back about it. I'm like, yes, this guy would shoot something and not tell me about it because he does it all the time. But I was like, turkey hunting is different than waterfall hunting because I was like, yeah, he definitely would text me if he shot a turkey. I'd hope so.
I would have probably sent
But
a
he
picture.
wouldn't. But he wouldn't text me. No, this is what he did. He would Snapchat me a picture of something, and that's what his reaching out to me would be. Here's a Snapchat of this. And I was
Probably.
thinking about it, I'm like, if I haven't even got a Snapchat from him, I'm like, he definitely missed or did something stupid. So
Yeah. Well, in the one video I'll send you, you could literally hear the gun click, and I was like, what in the world is going on. And yeah, it's spiraled. That bird's got 9 lives, that's for sure.
Hopefully, it doesn't
But
have 10.
I hope not. I mean, it's one expensive bird, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, 410 shells ain't cheap. So that was like a $20 shot right there.
Yep, it sure was, right into the tree. Right into the tree. Well, let's get some I gotta get some shut eye, I'll tell you that much. I don't know. We'll do a little bit of recap on the next one, kind of give everybody, I don't know, what we're seeing, kind of updates on what we're seeing in our areas or what we're seeing or hearing from other people in different areas throughout the turkey season. I'm going to try to get some fishing guys on the podcast here soon too, with the walleye bite being as hot as it is. I'm going to be in one of the local tournaments Saturday for fishing. It'll be the first time I actually got out all year. So that's going to be a little change of events for me, but
Are you gonna charge for autographs?
no,
No free autographs. Okay, cool.
no. Just give me a beer. I'll be happy. But yeah, that'll be different. I got to get my boat in the water. My dad's been out of town on his, but I got to get out.
He's been slaying them.
Yeah. So I still got to buy my fishing license, honestly.
I have not bought mine either. So
Maybe we'll get you over here for some hand lining one night.
rip my hand up a little bit more than it already is from the last time I did it.
Yeah, that'd be good. There's gloves you could wear. But well, we'll catch up with everybody on the next podcast, and hopefully I don't shoot a tree in the morning.
See you guys.
I appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.